A new insane Payfecta, 4 legendary cycle deck, best miner cycle deck, that counters Mega Knight. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Best Deck series continues on GWC, and today I will be talking about the 4 legendary Payfecta deck, which was very strong in the meta with the recent Ice Wizard and many P.E.K.K.A buffs. This deck in my opinion has become far stronger than it was a few months ago. I've had a lot of success playing this deck. This deck counter Mega Knight meta, and quite a lot of other decks with relative ease. If you want to see Miner Bandit's cycle deck, a link is given in description, or click the I button on right side of corner. Before I start the guide, please check timestamp in description. So watch only that part of video that you want to watch. Make sure you subscribe to more meta decks. Please comment what you like to see next meta guide on my channel. Also, comment best tips to help other Clash Royale players, and best comment is share in next video. I always put ladder gameplay to better understand how deck works and what strategies are used in this deck. Anyways, let's start the guide. And in this deck we have Miner, Electro Wizard, Princess, the Log, Inferno Tower, Mini P.E.K.K.A, Ice Golem and Poison. This deck has 4 legendary, 3 rare and 1 epic card. Only 3.4 elixir. Best miner poison cycle deck. So start with cards breakdown. First card is Miner. Main win condition of this deck: you will want to chip the tower down with Miner. Use Miner on Pump and Princesses if you get the chance. However, you can trick them by sending the Miner to the tower and simply poison what your opponent is likely to protect, plus tower getting value. It is also good in killing princesses, pumps, spawners and even glass cannons like Musketeer and Wizard. Not replaceable. His role is not really filled well by any other card. Use the Miner combined with the poison spell to kill any cheap defensive troops and to damage your opponent's tower. Second card is Poison, spell that usually will be paired up with your Miner. Don't hesitate to use this on defense if the situation calls for it. For example, if your opponent rushes with Giant plus Horde, you can use Inferno Tower plus Poison to counter that push for a +1 trade. The Poison spell should hit the tower and your opponent building, of course if he has some on the field. Never drop your Poison spell at high health troops. It's better to combine the spell offensively with your Miner. Miner plus Poison is just so strong right now. With all the spell bait decks around, you can easily gain tons of elixir advantages when you Miner poison a tower, as long as they drop something worth poisoning. Third card is Electro Wizard. If you were lucky enough to have him, then you most likely know how to use his beast. Use his spawn damage to clear out a group of small troops coming in your way. Use him on the other side to reset your enemy Inferno Tower. Use him to counter incoming threats. Use him in Miner pushes. It can use for reset Inferno Tower, Inferno Dragon and Sparky. After all, he is just a legendary Musketeer, so you should use him to counter his counters. Fourth card is Princess. Mainly for instant chip damage. He will do 140 damage to opponent's tower and Log will end up doing 96 damage to your tower. Ideally you want her down in the back, opposite lane of a beatdown push. That way they cannot deal with her with a push, and must commit elixir down on other lane to counter her. Otherwise she will do quite a bit of work to your opponent's push. Try to protect her if possible as long as you, but do not overcommit doing so. Fifth card is Mini P.E.K.K.A, one of your main tank killers in this deck. This card not only can be used on offense but also on defense too, because you have the Inferno Tower. I'm not afraid to use him on offense to either tank for my Miner, or vice versa. And whenever I want to apply a lot of pressure on, say, the other lane of my opponent versus beatdown decks especially. Inferno Tower plus Mini P.E.K.K.A can also shut down a golem quickly, allowing for a deadly counterpush after the successful defense using Mini P.E.K.K.A. Sixth card is Inferno Tower, your perfect defense building. Shreds through all the beatdown decks that have been around lately. It's great because it can shut a wide range of cards like Giant, Golem, Balloon, Lava Hound. It should be used only when needed, as it is the most expensive card in the deck, and can be punishing if you misuse it. Having the Inferno Tower lets you have the freedom to use your mini P.E.K.K.A on offense. Be aware of your opponent's spells. Don't give Fireball, Lightning value with your Inferno Tower. For an example, 7th card is Ice Golem, a great mini tank for only 2 elixir. He can distract units, kite them, and his death damage is really useful. I like to support my miner with him by placing him down first at the bridge and then miner at the tower. If there is poison is available, put there for minion horde and skeleton army. He is also useful against bait decks, which is really annoying to deal with. Main thing is Inferno Tower plus Golem can counter Mega Knight very well. 8th card is the Log, self-explanatory. One of the most versatile spells in the game, can be changed out for zap it up to your preference. Possible substitutes, it may change gameplay of this deck. Poison, you can play arrows and fireball. Electro Wizard, you can use Ice Wizard. Ice Wizard in this current meta is a beast. Ice Golem, Goblins, Goblin Gang and Knight. The Log, arrows and zap. Inferno Tower, only replace with Inferno Dragon. Other card is not replaceable. General gameplay. Early game, this deck is more an aggressive deck than anything. That being said, don't start off with a miner or mini P.E.K.K.A push. You will want to save your miner or poison in case they got a collector or 3 musketeers. I'm not against using a miner at the start, sending it to the non-tornado able spot, because getting the King Tower activated can be quite bad for you. If you keep placing your miner here and your opponent keeps predicting it, then switch it up, because more than likely it be a false prediction by your opponent. Be aware enough to switch up your miner placements each time. So early on, learn your opponent deck, learn what cards you need to keep in cycle with your opponent cards. Log for Barrel, Electro Wizard for Hound, Mini P.E.K.K.A or Inferno Tower for Hog. Poison for 3 musketeers. Cycling will be rather easy with this deck. That being said, don't cycle the cards you need unless you got no other option. Mid-game around now is where predictions come to play. Your opponent's Karmi's your miner. You can place miner directly in front of your opponent's tower and then log about a second later. It would clear away the skeleton army, allowing your miner to chip and do the chip from the log as well. Prediction poisons are great too, provided you are ahead of elixir. Poison on skeletons on defense or a knight, that not something I advise. So depending on what your opponent defends with, it okay to prediction poison sometimes. Try to get some damage down, outcycling your opponent's counters, destroying pumps, defending and counter-pushing. Late game, here you will cycle. You will want to cycle minor poisons, of course. Princess at the bridge is a move I do if the opponent tower is below about 1200 hit point. Other than that, I always princess in the back in order to draw out a log or something. If your opponent puts a tank, princess opposite lane in the back. So by continually chipping away at your opponent's towers, you want to get that 1-0 victory. This deck is very good at preventing damage. Combined with the DPS of the Inferno Tower and mini P.E.K.K.A along with the Electro Wizard's reset, make it a very solid defense. Just keep cycling minor plus poisons. Princess at the bridge to chip till you whittle the opponent's tower down to 0. Matchups: Mega Knight Hog cycle deck. Use your mini P.E.K.K.A for Hog, then use Ice Golem and Inferno Tower for Mega Knight. If Princess is out of cycle and they put Minion Horde, try to distract Minion Horde to Ice Golem, and after the death of Ice Golem put Electro Wizard to clean hordes. Lava Loon, Inferno Tower and Electro Wizard offer quite a lot of lightning value to your opponent. If they run Fireball, then you are more than likely to be able to easily beat them. But if lightning is there, you have to be aware of it. Try to place Inferno so that it locks onto their balloon, rather than Hound. If you can afford to wait, then Electro Wizard the minions, or log the gang. Use Princess on the opposite lane so they cannot arrows the same lane that you pushing. If you have a lot of troubles with this, you can change Inferno Tower to minions or Minion Horde even as arrow bait, where they have to decide to either arrows your princess or minions. However, this change will make your deck far more vulnerable to splash. Golem Lightning, similar to the previous one. Versus this deck, make sure you apply pressure opposite lane. Take down your opponent pumps and don't be afraid to poison defensively in order to keep your towers safe. I usually like to take out pumps with miner to tower then poison on pump. Make sure you princess opposite lane of golem and do not offer lightning value with your inferno tower plus electro wizard. That definitely a bad game. You can also alternate between using the mini P.E.K.K.A on the golem or inferno on golem and mini P.E.K.K.A on support. For an example, X-bow siege. Siege is really tricky, especially X-bow. Ideally you want to inferno tower on top of the X-bow. This will probably work the first time or second as well, but afterwards it's not a realizable way to counter your opponent's X-bow. So you can simply miner the tower, poison plus log X-bow and tower. This mitigates X-bow damage, doing 840 damage, as well as have a timer shortened by aiming at the miner. You can also use maybe your ice golem, mini P.E.K.K.A or electro wizard on whatever they send your way, and also tank for the X-bow. You deal with X-bow for 6 elixir. Opponent can either react or defend miner, and you will also deal with the ice golem, mega minion etc. coming your way, or even a mini P.E.K.K.A depending on which variant they are running. Also don't give fireball or rocket value. 3 musketeers. Not a hard matchup. Get rid of the pumps. Hold on to Princess for Horde and 3 Muskie. If they 3 Muskie and back, Princess Bridge of 2 Muskie lane and log. This takes off a lots of the 2 Muskie HP before they even pass the tower. You can deal with the lone musket with just ice golem. Overall a +2 trade assuming you fine tanking 1-2 musket shots on tower. Just don't let them build an elixir advantage. With the heal nerf, 3 Muskie heal is all but dead, so you don't need to worry about that either. Inferno tower, electro wizard and mini P.E.K.K.A are all good RAM answers. Balloon cycles. You need inferno tower or electro wizard for the balloon, so be aware of opponent's cycle. Princess other lane, etc. This matchup can be easy if you play well. Goblin gang log bait. Log bait is seeing a little rise. It's not really an issue for this deck. You will most likely cycle faster than them. Switch up miner placements and continue miner poisoning and avoiding their night prediction and you will be fine. Try and catch their princesses in your poisons. Miner princess. Taking out a princess with a miner poison push. Miner 3. For princess 3. Drew out an ice spurt and a night, so thus the poison was essentially an even trade. Hog cycles very easy matchup. Electro wizard, ice golem, inferno tower, mini P.E.K.K.A all solid answers to a hog. Avoid lightning and fireball value and you will be golden. Pros and cons for this deck. Pros for this deck: easy to use, best defense, fast cycle, counter the most of the meta decks. Cons for this deck: if beat down decks, gain positive trade then cannot stop. 4 legendary, weak against hut spam decks. Tips for this deck: first, do not use miner alone. Second, use ice golem as a tank for miner or defense miner minion horde combo. Third, if hog can be counter with mini P.E.K.K.A, don't use or show your inferno tower. Fourth, for elite barbarian, use ice golem and mini P.E.K.K.A to equal trade. Fifth, do not put 10 elixir on the map, it can cost your game. Conclusion: with the recent buff to Ice Wizard and mini P.E.K.K.A, I think this deck is very solid and a good enough bet to take with you to the 12 win-on challenges if you get practice with it. You do need to learn how to play this deck because it has a bit of a skill cap, but when you do learn how to play with it, you can consistently defeat quite a lot of other decks with relative ease. Any suggestion for me, please write in comment and how this deck work for you. That's it for now. Any questions, comments, or insults, post them in the comments below. I hope you like my guide and have a clash-tastic day. If you like my video, then like and share. Keep supporting me to more Clash Royale decks. For this you need to subscribe to my channel. Every best deck for you. I hope you like my guide and have a better day. See you in next meta guide. Stay tuned. Peace.
هلا اجا الزعيم العظيم
على دين مدفقار.
الشعب يقول اني حاكم كريم.
ايوه